fine, this is a description, but we'll come and check the area as well. If you say, man, we just need an officer to check the area for this guy, we'll come in, we'll check the area, and if he's here, we'll stop. What are you doing here in the parking lot? Do you live here? No. Why are you here? Well, I'm just walking through. This is not the neighborhood where you just walk through. This is at the end of the street. There's really nothing beyond this point. You need to get out of here. After I check you for warrants. You know, but don't hesitate. I think a lot of times people just don't want to get involved. You know, but if you guys want to maintain the quality of life that you have here now and the quality of this building, then you need to call us when you see stuff. You need to call us if you're having problems with a family member. You need to call us, if there's something that you want us to come in here and handle. So we always do the courtesy of checking in with them on the way in, because I do think because you all live so closely together in this independent living facility, when we show up, the people at the front desk, they do kind of have a right mind being to understand why we're here. You know, it's medical only, or it's a domestic dispute or whatever. So, that's going to be information we're going to give them. But otherwise than that, we handle it normally. If we handle a call in your apartment, we're going to keep that confidential. We're going to say when we leave, yeah, we had a call here, but, if you want the details, we're going to have to go and ask Mr. Jones or Miss Smith. The Joneses and Smiths are everywhere. So, but the thing is, if you guys come out and say, yeah, Mr. Christiansen, you'll be like, wait a minute, it's probably my relative. I'm going to be back up there. But the thing is, we will maintain your confidence. If you call 911 because of an incident in your apartment, if it's a criminal matter, we'll handle it just like we do everywhere else. When I leave the apartments over here on Wilkie Road, I don't go and tell all those people, oh yeah, hey, by the way, we just handled this over here at this house, and this is their family's business. This is what we don't do. None of us do that. I never don't do that. And we would handle that the same way here. Now, when we show up here, we're going to say, hey, we got a 911 call from room number 120. Show us that. We're going to go to room number 120. When we leave and say, hey, can you tell us what the call was about? Say, we got a 911 call here. Anything that can be public record, like it was a domestic dispute, but we got to handle. If you want any more details, you have to go see them. That's it. Because I think, especially if we escort somebody out of here, then these people that do your security do have a right to know that, we did escort somebody out of here because the problem's not resolved. If you want any more details than that, you're going to take it up with them.
Right.
Because who here likes people in their business? I did not see one hand go up. I don't like people in my business. So my officers and myself, we respect your privacy, and that your business is your business, okay? But do understand that once we get here, we are in charge.
Right.
When we go in your apartment, we are in charge, and we won't leave until we are satisfied that A, the situation is safe, and B, that the situation is resolved. Okay? Anybody have any questions so far? Awesome. I guess I'm a great orator. But I do work in the area. I go by PK, so if you call the precinct and say, I don't know the officer's last name, but he goes by PK, they'll know exactly who you're talking about, because I'm the only one there that goes by those initials. So, it's a pleasure to be here. I'll stick around here in her presentation. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask me, okay? All right.
Thank you.
I'm Sherry CONRAD. A lot of you know me as Mr. Larson's daughter. This is not my jurisdiction. This is his jurisdiction. But having experience with my father being elderly and everything else like that, Miss Mary asked me to maybe talk to you guys about a little bit of safety issues, things that you can do to keep yourselves from being hurt, in your apartments and stuff like that. Some of the things that I've experienced, and I've been a police officer for a little over 4 years now, some of the things that I've experienced going on calls with elderly is a lot of elderly folks love having their belongings with them, and I don't have a problem with that, but this includes throw rugs. A lot of elderly people have a tendency to tripping over their throw rugs and falling. And as you know, the older you get, the more brittle your bones get. The older I'm getting, the more brittle my bones are getting, and I'm feeling it as I fall and stuff like that. And yes, I'm extremely clumsy, so I fall a lot. But it's just something that needs to be thought about when you guys fall. It's first and foremost, if you've fallen and you find that you can't get up, call 911 immediately. Okay, don't call Mary. That has been drilled home to you guys
Right.
more than anything. Call 911. A good rule of thumb is if you guys carry a cell phone, carry your cell phone with you. Have it on you at all times, and that way you can call it instead of having to get up and scramble, or have a telephone. Have 2 or 3 telephones within your apartment. sleep, if you're feeling faint and you have some kind of, medical issue, or you're on some type of medication that you know is gonna make you drowsy, don't think about cooking after taking that medication. Know how your meds are going to affect you. It's always a good idea to know exactly what you're taking and how they're going to react and interact with you. If you're on a new medication, make sure that you ask your doctor how it's going to coincide with my other medications, because some people have a tendency to passing out while they're in the process of cooking, and their stove catch on fire, or just all sorts of bad things can happen with that. I answered a call in South Fulton County. A guy was just completely knocked out, and his hot dog caught on fire, and it burned his kitchen. An itty bitty little hot dog. It didn't happen really quickly. So if you're on any kind of medicine and your different meds, you know how they're going to react with your body and your chemistry. There's a case in point is if any of you are on oxygen. A big thing is getting caught up in your oxygen hoses and stuff like that. I know you can't tie them. That doesn't make sense to tie them, because obviously you cut your oxygen off. But if you can maybe wrap the cord securely enough to where you don't trip and get tangled up in your cord. That has happened to my father now 3 times, and he's the first person to admit it. That time he's ended up in the hospital the last 3 times because he's gotten tangled up in his oxygen cord. If you can secure those in a certain way, or just be very cognizant of what's going on. Always make sure that you have clear paths in your house or in your apartment. That way you can get from point A to point B without having any problems, getting caught up with furniture, getting yourself caught up with your sweaters or with jackets on or something else like that, because that can trigger a problem as well. There's so many things that you can do to be proactive. The biggest thing though is the rugs. Now if you guys like rugs, and I know I love my rugs, there are some safety strips that they can put on the bottom of the rugs that you can put on the top of tiles and stuff like that. I don't think they have them for putting carpet on carpet. But if you like your rugs, go ahead and get the safety strips. And what that does is that keeps the rugs from curling up. And that's something that you can get from Lowe's or Home Depot. And I'm sure you can probably get a discount in there.
If you have that problem with the throw rug and it's on a carpet, you can get the thing that they use in the offices that you put the stairs on.
Yeah.
And stick them on that.
Yeah, that's
and
excellent.
you pretty much got it.
Yeah, that's excellent, and that's a great idea, because I know I love rugs, but I have gotten to the point where I get to her house and I start, getting all excited and I trip over them, so that's a great idea. That really is a great idea. The safety thing, I cannot convey enough how important it is to keep yourself safe, keep yourselves upright. But if you're feeling like you're gonna fall, or if you feel like do not brace yourself if you're gonna fall, okay? Don't try to catch on to anything or anything else like that unless you're close to something like this, because the more you brace yourself, the more damage you're gonna do, okay? So just let nature take its course. It's human nature to brace yourself, and you end up hurting yourself more than anything on that. Safety is an issue, and I realize here safety is even more so of an issue than a regular apartment complex. But if you fall, do not hesitate to call 911. I mean, that's the first thing my dad did last night, and I finally drilled it into his head. Call him first, and then call me. So you can't call Mary, because she's as great as she is. You can't call TK Direct, as great as he is. You can't do that. You've got to have your own. You've got to dial 911.
Right.
It's an easy little thing. If you have your cell phone on, all you got to do is 911, or you can even have it programmed. You can just hit dial number 1, and you can have it programmed.
I just kind of want to piggyback on a couple of things you said. One thing about people coming to your door, this is a relatively safe location, but if somebody comes to your door claiming to be maintenance, and you're a little leery, for one, don't be afraid to call your front desk and ask them, hey, is maintenance around, or something like that. As well, one thing about cell phones, she said, if you make the call and you just leave it open, you'd be surprised how well those little mics on these cell phones can pick up. You won't be able to hear it, but they have a great ability to pick up your voice, these little mics that they have nowadays, in your cell phone. So if all you can do is dial 911 and just leave it open, then, you can, even if you can't hear it, you can at least yell your address and stuff like that, and what's going on, and the dispatcher will be able to pick that up. They wear headphones up there, and they can adjust the volume as well. They have a way to record the call, so if they have to, they can go back and re-listen to it with the volume back up and stuff like that. So that, don't just think that, oh, well, my phone fell, they can't hear me. You would be surprised. I mean, when my wife calls me, I've got 2 6-year-old girls and a baby at home, and man, I can hear those girls talking in the background, even with my wife talking, because they're, running around like little chickens with their heads cut off. So, just don't, if something doesn't feel right, it's okay to call. We've all been given a sixth sense, or whatever you want to call it, to alert us when something's not right. And if something's not right, give us a call. So we would rather come out when it initially doesn't feel right than after something has happened and you say to yourself, man, I should have called. You would not believe how many people we get when their homes have been broken into, their TVs are gone. We'll go to the neighbors, and they will say, oh yeah, I saw a guy carrying a TV out of the house, but I didn't think to call 911. My neighbors know I've got great neighbors. My neighbors know who live in my house. I know who lives in their house. And I'll never forget, one time I was at home during the day because I worked this shift. I was at home during the day, and I hear this rumbling sound coming down my street towards my driveway. So, I jump out of the house. I'm like, what the heck? I look, and there's some kids coming through my neighbor's yard and my yard. Now, I'm white, obviously, right? Okay? My neighbors are African American, and all these kids were white. Now, I know who their friends are. I know who their neighbors, who their kin are, because we have a close relationship. They've been my neighbors for like 7 years. My kids go there, it's like another house, right? And I said, what are you guys doing? I said, I know you're not here to visit these folks because I know them, and I know you don't belong here. Or we're just cutting through to our friend's house. This ain't the cut through neighborhood. So y'all need to turn around and go back the way you came. And I stood in my yard, so they all turned around and left. But the thing is, though, is that I could have just sat back and done nothing, and next bam, now my yard's the cut through yard. Or my neighbor's yard is the cut through yard. My neighbors work just as hard as I do for their home. But because I have a vested interest, there's another time where I was leaving to work, I see a trailer pull out on the opposite side of a truck pulling out on the opposite side of my neighbor's home. So in between her neighbor and their neighbor and their home, a truck pulls out. I'm like, now that looks odd. It comes out from the grassy area on the side of the house and taking off. So I drove and I caught up and I was able to get the tag number. So I called my neighbor and said, when you get home, check your house. Just make sure your house is okay, because this is what I saw. And do me a favor, I don't know your neighbors as well. Talk to them. And she did. She called me back and said, oh yeah, that guy borrows that guy's stuff. And so he knew that guy was coming, but he didn't think to tell us because he didn't think that we really pay attention. I bet you from now on, when something happens, or they're going to have somebody showing up in their house at noon, and around lunchtime, that they're going to make sure that they let my neighbor know. Because I'll tell you something, had they been driving off with lawnmowers and stuff like that in the back, I would have called my boss.